Welcome back to I was about to say King James Bible, New American Standard Bible. Yesterday we read um, chapter 6, which I'll go over it just a little bit. So let's go through verses 1 through 3, which like, listen, Israel, this is what the Lord has to say. Listen to everything he says, so that you may be prolonged in life. Chapters 4 through 9. Love the Lord with every single fiber of your being. Teach these things that the Lord has said to you, so that nobody may forget them. 10 through 15 says, each time that you reap of these wonderful miracle workings, remember that it's the Lord that who did it, and no one else. And also, it repeats the idea, do not idolize anything. 16 through 19, do not test the Lord, for you will only be humbled. Hold on. Hold on a second. Sorry. Let me get, um, hold on. Okay. Number 16 through 19 is do not test. Chapters 20 through 25 of 16 is essentially tell them what happened when you were brought down to this land over from Egypt. Um, how many chapters of Deuteronomy we have? We have a lot. We have a lot of spiel to cover. So let's start with chapter 7, warnings, which we will read right now. When the Lord, did I say 6? I mean 7. Um, when the Lord your God brings you into the land where you are entering to take possession of it, and he drives away many nations from before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater than mightier than you. And when the Lord your God turns them over to you and you defeat them, you shall utterly destroy them. You shall not make a covenant with them, nor be gracious to them. Furthermore, you shall not intermarry with them. You shall not give your daughters to their sons, nor shall you take their daughters for your sons. Um, for they will turn your sons away from following me, and they will serve other gods. Then the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will quickly destroy you. But this is what you shall do to them. You shall tear them down. You shall tear down their altars, smash their memorial stones, cut their ashram to pieces, and burn their carved images in the fire. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for his personal possession out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. The Lord did not make you his beloved, nor choose you to because uh, you were greater in number than any of the peoples, since you were the fewest of all the peoples. But because the Lord loved you and kept the oath which he swore to your forefathers. The Lord brought you out by a mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of slavery, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and his faithfulness to 1,000 generations for those who love him and keep his commandments. But he repays those who hate him to their faces to eliminate them. He will not hesitate toward him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore you shall keep the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which I am commanding you today to do them. Promises of God. Then it shall come about, because you listen to these judgments and keep and do them, that the Lord your God will keep his covenant with you and his faithfulness, which he swore to your forefathers. And he will love you, bless you, and make you numerous. He will also bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your ground, your grain, your new wine, and your oil, the newborn of your cattle, and the offspring of your flock, and the land which he swore to your fathers to give you. You shall be blessed above all peoples. There will be no sterile male or infertile female among you or among your cattle. And the Lord will remove from you all sickness, and he will not inflict upon you any of the harmful diseases of Egypt, which you have known, but he will give to give them to all who hate you. You shall consume all the peoples whom the Lord your God will turn over to you. Your eyes shall not pity them, nor shall you serve their gods, for that would be a snare to you. Hold on. If you say in your heart, these nations are greater than I, how can I dispossess them? You are not to be afraid of them. You shall remember well what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and to all Egypt, the great trials which your eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, and the mighty hand and the outstretched arm by which the Lord your God brought you out. The Lord your God will do the same to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. Indeed, the Lord your God will send the hornet against them until those who are left and hide themselves from you perish. You are not to be afraid of them, because the Lord your God is in your midst, a great and awesome God. And the Lord your God will drive away these nations from you little by little. You will not be able to put an end to them quickly, otherwise, the wild animals would become too numerous for you. But the Lord your God will turn them over to you and will throw into great confusion until they are destroyed. And he will hand over the kings to you so that you will eliminate their name from under heaven. No one will be able to understand earth, able to stand against you until you have destroyed them. The carved images of their gods you are to burn with fire. You shall not covet the silver or the gold that is on them, nor take it for yourselves, or you will be trapped by it, for it is an abomination to the Lord your God. And you shall not bring an abomination into your house and become designated for destruction like it. You are to utterly detest it, and you are to utterly loathe it, for it is something designated for destruction. So 7 is like, when I hand these nations to you, you shall destroy them and shall not leave one trace. And the Lord is powerful. He is awesome. He is above all. And what he says will be executed. And be careful again of idolatry. Notice how the Lord strongly condemns idolatry, and yet, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, um, people will still idolize and idolize. Now that's awful. Um, but yeah, that's the briefing of chapter 7. And verse from this selection is, you're not to be terrified of them, because the Lord your God is in your midst, a great and awesome God. And the Lord your God will drive away these nations from you little by little. You will not be able to put an end to them quickly, otherwise the wild animals will become too numerous for you. But the Lord your God will turn it over to you, and you will throw them into great confusion until they are destroyed. And he will hand over their kings to you, so that you will eliminate their name from under heaven. No one will be able to understand against you till you have destroyed them. So that is 21 through 24, found in chapter 7 of Deuteronomy. So Deuteronomy 7, 21 through 24. Okay, there we go. Here's chapter 8, God's gracious dealings. All the commandments that I am commanding you today, you shall be careful to do, so that you may live and increase and go in and take possession of the land which the Lord swore to give all your forefathers, to give to your forefathers. And you shall remember all the way which the Lord your God has led you in the wilderness these 40 years, in order to humble you, putting you to the test, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. And he humbled you and let you go hungry, and fed you with the manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, in order to make you understand that man shall not live on bread alone, but man shall live on everything that comes out of the mouth of the Lord. Your clothing did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. You are to know that in your heart that the Lord your God was disciplining you, just as a man disciplines his son. Therefore, you shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of streams, of water, of fountains and springs, flowing out in valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines, fig trees, and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land where you will eat food without shortage, in which you will not lack anything, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you can dig copper. When you have eaten and are satisfied, you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land which he has given you. Be careful that you do not forget the Lord your God by failing to keep his commandments, his ordinances, and its statutes which I am commanding you today. Otherwise, when you eat and are satisfied, and you build good houses and live in them, and when your herds and your flocks increase, and your silver and gold increase, and everything that you have increases, then your heart will become proud, and you will forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. He who led you through the great and terrible wilderness, with its fiery serpents and scorpions, and its thirsty ground when there was no water. He who brought water for you out of the rock of flint. In the wilderness, it was he who fed you manna which your fathers did not know, in order to humble you, in order to put you to the test, to do good for you in the end. Otherwise, you may say in your hearts, my power and the strength of my hand are made me this wealth. But you are to remember the Lord your God, for it is He who has given you power to make wealth, in order to confirm His covenant, which He swore to your fathers as it is this day. And it shall come about if you ever forget the Lord your God and follow other gods and serve and worship them, I testify against you today that you will certainly perish, like the nations that the Lord eliminates from you. So you shall not excuse me. So you shall perish because you would not listen to the voice of the Lord your God. Chapter 8, it covers the following messages. Remember the Lord in all your ways. Right? For example, he led the first generation of the Israelites, that same generation, well, not the first generation in all, but first generation which was the one that was led out of Egypt by God. He was put in the they were put in the wilderness for 40 years and were given manna. And notice this in verse 3, and he humbled you and let you go hungry and fed you with the manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, in order to make you understand that, wait for it, wait for it. Man shall not live on bread alone, but man shall live on everything that comes out of the mouth of the Lord. You want to guess where else this is cited? Well, it's in the New Testament. And let me pull this up. In Matthew 4:4, Jesus cites this and he responds, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but out of every word that comes out of the mouth of God. Word for word, he cites it, he copies it, and he kicks the devil to the bottom. The devil was like, if you're God, if you're the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. But Jesus is like, no. It is said that man shall not live on bread alone, but out of the word of God. And it also says, um, hold on. I also forgot to mention this, but chapter 7, um, or hold on. So to summarize that, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3 connects with Matthew 4:4. Um, Very important to understand that as long as God says your story is not done, you've got time to live. If your story is done, then He will Daniel snapped it into reality. by his word. Hold on. Trying to find the verse. I think it's in chapter 8, actually. Um, no, bear with me. Hmm. I thought I read it that it said, "Do not test the Lord." Oh, I think it's chapter 6, actually. Yeah. Okay. I apologize for not citing this yesterday, but Deuteronomy 6:16 connects with Matthew 4:7, which says, Jesus said to him, the devil, on the other hand, it is written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. And as for you shall worship the Lord your God and serve him only, in verse 10 of Matthew 4, um, it's not really just one verse, but it's really the whole book of Deuteronomy. But if you want a specific verse, turn to Deuteronomy 5:7. You shall have no other gods beside me, which connects with that verse in Matthew, which let me turn back to Matthew 4. So Matthew 4:4 connects with Deuteronomy 8:3. Matthew 4:7 connects with Deuteronomy 6:16, and Matthew 4:17 connects with Deuteronomy 5:7. So even Jesus, yes, we call Jesus and all this stuff New Testament, and it's highly regarded as it is. But even Jesus went to the Old Testament and he says, I'm not here to abolish the Old Testament, but to fulfill it. Leave it to Jesus to obey everything without rebellion, but through righteousness. But yeah, and again, and also connecting through 4:17 of Deuteronomy along with 5:7 is Deuteronomy 8:19. And if shall come about if you ever forget the Lord your God and follow other gods and serve and worship them, I testify against you today that you will certainly perish. And verse 20 is like the nations that the Lord eliminates from you, so you shall perish because you would not listen to the voice of the Lord your God. It's a it's not just a message to these people, Israel, but a message to all of us. Will we heed to this message or will we ignore it? I'm not going to say anything lest I be humbled, but to those of y'all who are listening, just because I do something stupid, something wrong, doesn't mean you get to do it as well. Surround yourself with good counseling and do not forget the Lord that is with you. Yeah, I think we're going to stop it here for now. Or no, actually, I want to read chapter 9. Israel provoked God. I have enough. All of a sudden, I have a hunger. Hear, Israel, you are crossing the Jordan today to go into dispossess the nations greater and mightier than you, cities that are great and fortified to heaven, a people who are great and tall, the sons of the Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard it said, who can stand against the sons of Anak? So beware today that it is the Lord your God who is crossing over ahead of you as a consuming fire. He will destroy them and he will subdue them before you, so that you may drive them out and eliminate them quickly, just as the Lord has spoken to you. Do not say in your heart when the Lord your God has driven them away from you, because of my righteousness the Lord has brought me in to take possession of this land. Rather, it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord is dispossessing them before you. It is not because of your righteousness or the uprightness of your heart that you are going in to take possession of the land, but it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord your God is driving them out from before you, and in order to confirm the oath which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Know then that it is not because of your righteousness that the Lord your God has given you this good land to possess, for you are a stubborn people. Remember, do not forget how you provoked the Lord your God to anger in the wilderness, from the day that you left the land of Egypt until you arrived at this place. You have been rebellious against the Lord. Even at Horeb, you provoked the Lord to anger, and the Lord was so angry with you that he would have destroyed you. When I went up to the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I remained on the mountain for 40 days and nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water. The Lord gave me two tablets of stone, written by the finger of God, and on them were all the words which the Lord had spoken with you at the mountain from the midst of the fire, on the day of the assembly. It came about at the end of 40 days and nights that the Lord gave me the two tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant. Then the Lord said to me, arise, go down from here quickly, because your people whom you brought out of Egypt have behaved corruptly. They have quickly turned aside from the way that I have commanded them. They have made a cast metal image for themselves. The Lord also said to me, I have seen these people, and indeed it is a stubborn people. Leave me alone, that I may destroy them and wipe out their name from under heaven. And I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain while the mountain was burning with fire, and the two tablets of the covenant were in my hands. And I saw that you had indeed sinned against the Lord your God. You have made for yourselves a cast metal image of a calf. You had quickly turned aside from the way that the Lord had commanded you. So I took hold of the two tablets and threw them from my two hands and smashed them to pieces before your eyes. Then I fell down before the Lord like the first time for 40 days and nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water, because of all your sin which you had committed by doing what was evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and the rage which the Lord was angry with you, so as to destroy you. But the Lord listened to me at that time as well. The Lord was also angry enough with Aaron to destroy him. So I also prayed for Aaron at that same time. And I took your sinful thing which you had made, the calf, and burned it into the fire and crushed it, grinding it thoroughly until it was fine as dust. And I threw its dust into the stream that came down from the mountain. Then at Taberah, at Massa, and at Kebroth Hattava, kept provoking the Lord to anger. And when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and take possession of the land which I have given you, you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God. You neither trusted him nor listened to his voice. You have been rebellious toward the Lord since the day I knew you. So I fell down before the Lord for the 40 days and nights, which I did because the Lord said he would destroy you. And I prayed to the Lord and said, Lord God, do not destroy your people, your inheritance, whom you have redeemed through your greatness, whom you have brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do not return your attention to the stubbornness of this people or to their wickedness of their sin. Otherwise, the people of the land from which you brought us will say, Since the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he had promised them, and since he hated them, he has brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. Yet they are your people and your inheritance, whom you brought out by your great arm and your outstretched arm, or great power and your outstretched arm. Chapter 9 is a uh I guess a diss track, but not a diss track out of hatred, but diss track out of uh love. Look, Moses recounts what the Israelites did against the Lord when they were like, oh, because the Lord knows that I'm righteous. That's why he's given this. But no, the Lord saw the rebellion. He saw the mockery and delivered punishment. In fact, it says, Remember, do not forget how you provoked the Lord your God to anger in the wilderness. From the day that you left the land of Egypt until you arrived at this place, you have been rebellious against the Lord. Remember, the Israelites were so, how, if only we had been left in Egypt so that we may not starve to death, but you have brought us out in the wilderness for us to die. The way they said it sounds very hurtful and ungrateful. And um, it recounts the chronology from when the Lord was tempted to destroy them, but Moses interceded for them. And because of that, the Lord was able to show mercy. But at the same time, he also punished them so that they were in the wilderness for 40 days and they would die in the wilderness. And quickly, I'm going to read chapter 10, the tablets rewritten. At that time, the Lord said to me, cut for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first two, and come up to me on the mountain and make an ark of wood for yourself. Then I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you have smashed to pieces, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut out 2 tablets of stone like the first two. And I went up on the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. Then he wrote on the tablets like the first writing, the 10 commandments which the Lord had spoken to you on the mountain from the midst of the fire and on the day of assembly. And the Lord gave them to me. Then I turned and came down from the mountain, and I put the tablets in the ark which I had made. And there they are, just as the Lord commanded me. Now the sons of Israel set out from Beroth Benajakin to Mosera. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And his son Eleazar served as priest in his place. From there they set out to Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jothbatha, a land of streams of water. At that time, the Lord singled out the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before, uh, to stand before the Lord, to serve Him, and to bless in His name until this day. Therefore, Levi does not have a portion of it or inheritance with his brothers. The Lord is his inheritance, just as the Lord your God spoke to him. I, moreover, stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights like the first time. And the Lord listened to me that time also. The Lord was not willing to destroy you. Then the Lord said to me, arise, proceed on your journey ahead of the people, so that I may go in and take possession of the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to and love him, and to serve your heart, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the Lord's commandments and the statutes which I am commanding you today for your good. Behold, to the Lord your God belong heaven and the highest heavens, the earth and all that is in it. Yet the Lord set his affection on your fathers to love them, and he chose their descendants after them, you over all the other people, as it is this day. So circumcise your hearts and do not stiffen your neck any longer. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, and the awesome God, who does not show partiality nor take a bribe. He executes justice for the orphan and the widow, and shows his love for the stranger by giving him food and clothing. So show your love for the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall fear the Lord your God, and you shall serve him, and cling to him, and you shall swear by his name. He is your glory, and he is your God, who has done these great and awesome things for you, which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 persons in all. And now the Lord your God has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven. Word of the Lord. Praise be to God. That is a great place to stop. And we'll pick up with chapter 11 on the next one. So, chapter 10. Moses smashed those tablets in frustration after seeing the molten image of a calf. And the Lord was angry at that. And Moses saw that, and he was angry and had that calf destroyed. So he went up with the Lord again so that he could rewrite the Ten Commandments on two tablets. Um, but yeah, Moses saw why the Lord was angry. He was also upset with Aaron. How ironic it is that the one thing that the Lord, which in my opinion, the Lord has been emphasizing over all these things, the one thing that that in the Bible will be the greatest sin, or not the greatest sin, but the most common sin here is idolatry. Not even lust or murder, but I hear lots of idolatry. And how ironic it is that idolatry is the most commonly uh, committed sin, at least through what I read in the Bible. The one sin that the Lord emphasizes the most, or in my opinion, he warns about the most. Maybe he doesn't uh, regard it more or less, but equally as he ought to, as he always does, and he always will. But the Lord mentions this quite honestly the most out of all of these sins, at least through this section, through this era of Moses. He mentions, do not idolize, do not make idols, worship images, for the Lord is a jealous God. Now, um, and yet people committed the most, the most warned of all the sins is the most heavily committed sin, at least in my mind. It might not be true, but at least that's what it seems to me. How ironic is that? So that's the first half. And then the second half is Moses saying to them, look, to love the Lord, fear the Lord your God, walk in all his ways and love him, serve the Lord your God with your heart and your soul, all of your heart and soul. Keep his commandments and statutes. That's all you have to do. He has given you all these things, and all you have to do is that ounce of appreciation. Circumcise your heart. He's not saying rip out your heart and just trim it. No. He's like, turn your heart in the other direction. Lift up your heart towards God. God does not show partiality, nor take a bribe, nor anything. He executes justice for the orphan and the widow. And shows love for the stranger by giving him food and clothing. So show your love for the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And again, you shall serve the fear. You shall fear the Lord your God, and you shall serve him and clean him, and you shall you shall swear by his name. He is your glory and your God, who has done these great and awesome things for you, which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 persons, persons in all, and now the Lord your God has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven. That's Deuteronomy 10:16 through 22. Remember, just like Don't You Want Me from the Human League. Um, but don't forget it's me who brought, brought you up, and I can bring you back down too. And also in the same song, don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when when you say that you won't see me, and when I hear that you don't need me. And then also, it's much too late to find when you think you've changed your mind. You better change it back, or we will both be sorry. That's how the Lord is. You better change your mind if your heart is not right with the Lord, or otherwise you'll be sorry and you'll be suffering. All it takes is to keep the Lord's commandments of justice and serve Him. And I'm guilty of disregarding that as well. So I'm not righteous, but that's that's what the Lord commands us to do. Yeah. So to summarize, warnings is do not mix God with other religions or idols, and trust the Lord with all your heart. Chapter 8 is the Lord has given you all these things. So do not forget about the Lord. Remember him. And also, chapter 9 is remember that you rebelled against the Lord. So do not call yourselves righteous, but rather humble yourselves to the Lord. And then, chapter 10, Moses wrote two new tablets for the Lord's word. And Moses also says, love him, serve him in all your ways, and keep his commandments and statutes, so that you may be prolonged in this life, in earth, and in heaven. Well, heaven you'll be living for quite a while. Yeah. Um, and also, the Lord is a gracious God, impartial and unwilling to take any bribes. And he won't ever do that. He will never betray righteousness. All right, folks, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll start back with chapter 11 on the next one, and that is it. Go in peace and seek the love of the Lord.